Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. In this session, I would like to talk about my experiences and insights, from the time that I first engaged in educational research when I was a undergraduate. Yeah. Like, I started involving in research quite early. At that time, I was only 20 years old. So, I have just recently graduated from my university. Before uh, flying to the UK for my master's. So I would like to share some information about, starting research really early like this. Yeah. So let's get started. So here is some information about me. Yeah, I am currently an academic instructor and advisor at Language Lab project, which aims to introduce um, the insights from linguistics and language education in, English language lessons. So I am pursuing my master's in TESOL at the University of Hull in the UK. Yes, just you know I have been pursuing this degree since September. Yeah, I graduated from university uh, in July. Yeah, I finished my bachelor's in English language teacher education. Yeah, like at Saigon University, Vietnam. Yeah, currently I am also a research trainee at Learning Out Lab. Yeah, that is a lab of a network for teacher education. So I have recently published my first research article. Yeah, you can see here the link below, and I will briefly talk about that later on. Now, I would like to share the story that I was an undergraduate. Like when I started my undergraduate degree in 2020, I did not have any intention to engage in research. I just assumed that I would be, a teacher at a public school in Vietnam. Yeah, but basically, truly loved teaching. I realized my passion when I was at the end of my high school. Yeah, I didn't follow the path of my family, nor did I think about, some really popular trends at that time. Like while my friends would choose economics or, psychology, I would opt for, language teaching. So when I when finally started my university journey, I always made sure that I try to practice teaching and enhance my language proficiency. Like whenever I had a chance, I would practice teaching all over again and you know seek feedback from lecturers and peers. Beyond the content of the school, I tried to participate in some English speaking clubs or some other activities where I can, enhance my English skills. Yeah. Also, there were some opportunities you know, to reflect upon my teaching capacity when it comes to some pedagogical contests. Yeah. So I could learn a lot from my peers whenever I engaged in such activities. But at that time, the ideas about research were really vague. Yeah, I didn't have any interest in research. Like at that time, no one told me about research, though I had to read various books. Yeah, you can see it in the picture. Whenever I finished some subjects at my university, sometimes I got to a local cafe where would sit in a table and engage in some books and yeah, watch some recordings, like yeah. But also, what is interesting about my experiences is that I I feel really fortunate, like because during at the start of my undergraduate program, I had various very supportive friends who would get along with me throughout the time. Like whenever we have whenever we had some, you know, some I guess demonstrations, we would try to make sure that we perform well, like by looking for some space where we can practice teaching, where we could practice teaching with each other. Yeah. Uh, like other times I would head to a public library that is the general sciences library at um it, in the heart of Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah, like at that time I fell in love with a book about the history of English. I also stumbled upon another book on global Englishes. Yeah, that is a must read also. Yeah. So when it at the end of my second year, I finally studied a subject called research writing. Yeah, like prior to my participation in the course, I would spend like my whole summer reading a lot of books about research, but you know, you can see that there's the product. Yeah, the products of of my group in that subject. Yeah, that is about our really uh small like a little study about like solutions to some difficulties that many non-English major students faced when they try to enhance their speaking skill. Yeah, but let me tell you about the initial moments that I first read some books. Yeah, some research books. Like the first book that I read was about how to do research. Yeah, um, I will always highly recommend that books to beginning teach researchers. Yeah, but the thing is that I could not, I could barely understand any content in the book. You know, for example, parts positivism. Yeah, that is some kind of philosophy in research. I could understand it. Yeah. Also, I couldn't. I would misunderstand the word methodology. I cannot compare it. I cannot differentiate its meaning from the word methods. Yeah. Another example is that I couldn't find any meaning in doing research. What is the point of writing a lot of research articles and publishing, these papers? Yeah. So also, I cannot figure out the reason why. Yeah, I have to read a lot of research articles and books. Well, it was not until I I met my one of my lecturers at my university and participated in his webinar that I finally changed my beliefs. When I, I have to talk about my part-time jobs first. Like whenever I tried to support some children at a language center, I I I could not understand why, I tried to, to deliver some tutorials to the children. However, they could not remember a thing in the lesson. So later on, I felt stuck. Like, oh my gosh, I have, you know, I think I kept thinking like this. Oh my gosh, I have learned a lot, but now look at everything. I cannot do. I could do anything to help the children. Fortunately, I had a chance to watch a webinar by my lecturer. His name is Johan Vũ. Yeah, currently he is a PhD candidate at Durham University in the UK. Like uh, the webinar was about challenging some notions about learning. Like so, I love the idea that solely transmitting knowledge to learners is not enough. Like when you stand next to the board and convey the lesson to students sitting down in front of you, how can learning happen? Yeah, how can you ensure that the learning processes take place in your students' head? You know, that question is really like fascinating when you think about it. Yeah. So the thing is that uh, in his session, he would use some insights from second language acquisition research in order you know, to help me figure out why many of my teaching approaches were were clearly useless. Children could learn something, but they could not use the content of my lessons to truly use the language in real life, for example. They would be stuck, and me too. Yeah. So later on, thanks to his, the insights into second language acquisition as well as other branches of linguistics, yeah, I came to realize the importance of the engagement in educational research. So, like, since then, I have tried to reflect upon my teaching. Like, whenever I try to translate certain sentences into Vietnamese, of course, it can work. During my undergraduate program, I studied a subject called teaching methodology. Yeah, we have teaching methodology one and teaching methodology two. So I was interested in many teaching methods, like I'm sorry, not just about grammar translation method, but also direct method. Apart from that, we have something like ESA or TBLT. So, I was really fascinated by such methods and approaches. The thing is that how could I make use of such insights from research to enhance my lesson as oh yeah, I can also use the knowledge to properly prepare my lessons well. Yeah. So like initially I was really stuck, but later on at least I knew what to do next to figure out why I had failed. So yeah, so it on the slide you can see that these are the 3 points that I was completely intrigued. Yeah, second language acquisition. I at that time when I was in my third year, I was fascinated by the idea of um affective filter by Stephen Krashen. Yeah, at that time, if after learning about it, I paid more attention to emotional needs of my learners, recognizing that without emotions, people could learn nothing. How can you remember the meaning of vocabulary or some kind of listening, some kind of input without motivation? Yeah, it's something like that. It is also related to educational psychology as well. Yeah, the emotions and learning. Yeah, they are correlated. Also, yeah, teaching methodology, many teaching methods could be really suitable for particular context, but others do not. Yeah, but so let's move on to talk about other insights. So with such experiences, I like the motivation to learn more about research intensified day by day. So later on, throughout my undergraduate program, I engaged in five research courses beyond my university. You can say that I I completed two courses on Coursera, which are qualitative methods and quantitative methods by the University of Amsterdam. Yeah. Later on, um I studied in person, technical at summer school, also qualitative and quantitative methods, Yeah, and another course by Dr. Phương Cao and Dr. Han Nguyen is Pathway to Research Success. You know, the five courses gave me a lot of insights. The most important note is that when it comes to choosing methods, I should not start with methods first. Rather, I should reflect upon my beliefs, which represents some kind of philosophical ideas. Yeah. For example, do I believe that there is only one single reality, or there are multiple realities? What I think about knowledge? How do I gain knowledge? By experiences, by getting facts and so on. So such, you know, they are uh, ontology and epistemology, which determine my choice of the choice of my methodology. And finally, we have methods. That is the case. But of course, there are other ideas really important when you do research, but we can talk about it later on if we have a chance. Yeah. So thanks to all the knowledge and experiences, I finally completed my undergraduate thesis on emotional responses to teachers' feedback. Yeah, that was very interesting. I always feel grateful for my supervisor, my partner, my lecturers, and any other peers who have, you know, helped me throughout the journey. Yeah, the score, 9.8 out of 10. It's just part of the journey. It's just something like the surface of everything. But later on, like the thesis truly shaped my identity. For example, um, before that, I believed I wouldn't believe that I would just convey lessons to students, and students can be responsible for their learning. But later on, when I paid more attention to academic needs and emotional aspects of my students, listening to their voices more closely, I could cater my teaching approaches to their needs. Later on, thanks to the thesis, I completely changed my feedback strategy. When I was an IELTS trainer at a language center in Ho Chi Minh City, I, I would think like, oh my gosh, is this too much criticism? How can I give compliments to motivate my students? Are there any helpful suggestions? Yeah, that is also the theory of Highland and Highland. Yeah. So basically, research and teaching are intertwined. Are intertwined. So that is really important. Yeah. Beyond my university, I also engaged in many professional activity. Professional development activities. Yeah, of course. Prior to my undergraduate thesis, I engaged I engaged in a project about second career teachers in Vietnam. Yeah, and I successfully completed my presentation at with TESOL International Convention. Yeah. I have also submitted my manuscript to a journal and waiting for reviewers' comments. Yeah. Also, there have been a wide range of research communities. Yeah. Where we can share our insights into research and experiences, etc. Yeah. Also, um, you know, taking taking on many research development roles such as moderator or trainee is really interesting. Yeah, we can gather insights from many um, experts, teachers, educators, and so on. Yeah, and you know, I am deeply grateful for my lecturer's lab. Yeah, Mr. Trần Thanh Vũ. You know, he established the Learning Out Lab last year. We in order to introduce teacher education more closely to the context of my home country. Yeah, so it's not just about, researching attitudes, but we need to figure out many aspects, but with a strong focus on teacher identity. Yeah. Apart from that, we have a lot of webinars, discussions, and workshops. Yeah, where we could, discuss several like hands-on experiences in the classroom and research insights. Yeah. So basically, um, you know, what is really interesting about this is that after all, we need to see we need to see the fact that like everyone has their own path. Like they following following everything, they have their own path. They develop it in their own way. They can build their identity. That is the most important thing. Of course, there have been failures, there have been arguments, and there have been quarrels, and so on. But we need to see everyone grow. Yeah, that is really important. So, of course, after graduation in July, I was really like I cannot describe my emotion when when my recent article was finally published. Yeah, marking, you know, the stars of my engagement in academia, officially, I guess so. Yeah. But the thing is that after, reflecting upon, let's reflect on these experiences. Initially, in 2023, yeah, that is about 1 year of my participation in research. Yeah, this is my imagination at that time. Like when asked about how, how becoming a researcher is, this is my drawing at that time. I would assume that, a researcher should spend, you know, like tremendous time typing their completing their research article, reading and making sure that they are sticking to their plan. Yeah. So you can see the moon over the window, and you can see some yeah, some terms um in the picture like design, application, methods, and so on. Yeah. But everything changed completely. Research is not just about that. Of course, we need to sacrifice something along the way. That is undeniable. But research should be more than that. We should learn something from research. It, necessary to for our growth, personal growth. So this is the picture that I drew at the start of 2024. Research enables me to challenge my own beliefs and attitudes. Like whenever I write down a sentence, I would ask, is this okay? Okay, let's see. So what? Is there any missing? Is this, you know, it, how does this sound, for example? And then with those research in mind, we can have some ideas in the next morning. Aha, yeah, some aha moments. Research on it, research also represents an opportunity to engage in meaningful conversations and connect to more people around the world. Whenever that is also a way to enhance communication skills. Yeah. Finally, we should, say or some kind of game meaning. I don't know if this reflects the nature of my experiences or not. Yeah, but meaning that is a meaningful journey after all. We need to become a lifelong learner. Yeah. So basically, after all, you can say that research is not easy. Again, research is not easy. Throughout the journey, you can say that it took me over 2 years to complete my first project. But what is more important is that I learned so many insights into not only research but also teaching. Everything that I have learned in truly enhances my teaching capacity. Yeah, which is really important to continuous learning. Yeah. So it also like I have gained the awareness of lifelong learning. You know, if we have research articles published every single day, we have technological advancements. Why don't we make some improvements for ourselves? Yeah, that is what I truly learned from research. And right now, as I am, sharing my experiences, I am writing another paper. Yeah, reflecting another journey. Me, yeah. So I guess that is everything. Thank you so much for watching this video. Oh, yeah. So I hope that we will have some discussions in the future. I have I have shown my contact details on the slide already. So hopefully we will have some fruitful discussions. Yeah. So thank you once again. See you.